To better understand this development, let's talk to Commissioner for Finance and Lagos, Rafiu Olowo, who joins us now on the state government's move. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at this time.
Thank you very much.
We're going to get into the details in a moment, but help us understand why the state government is tolling this path at this time. That's minus 5 billion naira in revenue.
Absolutely. So thank you very much for having me. I think one of the most common questions I've been asked as Commissioner for Finance is, when are you going to review the land use charge? One of the earliest commitments that we have as a government was to actually look into the agitations of the people, because in 2018, we all know that there were a lot of public outcry in terms of the land use charge rate, and we had to look at it vis-a-vis what is happening in the economy today. The COVID-19, even made a decision to actually review the land use charge even faster. We've looked at it across all economics, business, individuals, owner-occupiers, industrialists, and there's a real need for us to listen to the people and actually, make changes that will reflect that this government is a listening government and is the government of the people. Just to give you some brief, insight into the changes, I think there are about 5 or 6 key messages. For the pensioners, the definition of pensioner in the law, in the 2020 law, has been expanded to include people who have retired from public and private organizations. So that was not in the 2018 law. So it is only for people who retired in public.
They don't get to pay at all.
They don't get to pay at all. It's 100% waiver for pensioners or people who have attained the age of 60 years. Okay. So that's what the 2020 law has come, to say. Also, for the generality of the people, be it individual, be it business, be it owner-occupier, there's a weighted average reduction of about 48% in the chargeable rate. If you compare what we have now and what used to be in place, by the 2018 law. So that
is that reverting to the situation before 2018, or it's lesser?
Absolutely, reverting to the 2018 rate. Okay. But it also had, more concession or rebate, especially to recognize what the country is going on, through right now, what the people, are experiencing right now, what business people are experiencing right now. And I can, get a chance to actually talk about the special concession that has been awarded by Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Okay. There's been a penalty waiver. And I don't want, there's been so many misconceptions, especially in this area, and I'd like to actually clear. There is a penalty waiver for defaulters arising from year 2017, year 2018, and year 2019. Those penalties have been waived totally, not the land use charge payable in those years. So I think that needs to be cleared. Also, there's been a reintroduction of 15% early payment discount.
Let me hold you for a minute. Yeah. Are there people who actually paid the upwardly reviewed 2018 rate? And are there plans to have their monies reverted?
There will be no need to have their monies reverted. So the answer to your question is yes, there were people who complied with that, and which is good because a law is a law. Absolutely. But because government is continuum, we have come to say, okay, we are reverting to the pre-2018 rate. The people will still have to pay what is payable under that law, but the penalty for defaulters have been waived.
So you mentioned the fact that penalties for 2017, 2018, and 2019. So at what point in 2020 do you start counting this penalty?
So it's the fiscal year is January to December. Okay. So for the entire 2017, 2018, 2019, the penalty accrued on defaulters across those 3 years have been waived.
Okay, so let's look at, you mentioned pensioners earlier. How do you verify, for instance, now that you're expanding it beyond the public space to private sector, how do you verify that someone who has worked and is a retiree in that sense?
So people have to make a special application to the Office of the Commissioner for Finance, making supporting documentation to actually say, I retired from this establishment, whether it is public, whether it is private. I'll look at all this supporting documentation and actually offer that concession. It's not automatic. It is by application.
All of this review, are they going to pass through the Lagos State House of Assembly, or these are, stuffs just coming from the government house?
So when we came in, we had to pass through the Lagos State Executive Council to actually get approval for this new law. We enjoyed a lot of support from the Lagos State House of Assembly, making a reversion, in terms of the rate to the pre-2018 rate was, pretty easy, because it's the people's mandate, is what the people want, and we got it quickly passed through the House of Assembly. So that all those phases have been, assessed currently, and we have a new law. The 2018 law has been repealed at the moment. We have a new law, which is the 2020 Land Use Charge Law.
Commissioner for Finance Rafiu Olowo, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us tonight, and subsequently we'll get more details from you in this regard.
Thank you very much.